Okay, so why are we here?
So we're here to do the Honey Slim Pickins challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Who started it again?
Hold on. Allie Brown.
Okay, so
Yes. She's an art journaler that I just recently found, but I found her through In Liquid Color, or Denise's mostly watercolor art channel here on YouTube.
And we really liked viewing the challenge on In Liquid Color's channel, and we thought it would be fun to do.
So what is the challenge?
So the challenge goes that your honey, pick out
My husband.
Pick out five art supplies to make you make a piece, and you have to use all of them.
Make me.
Use all of them, and we're modifying the rules in a similar way to how In Liquid Color did it, where I have to let you use an appropriate tool. So if I pick ink, you gotta have the appropriate tools or acrylic or whatever.
So I'm less of an art journaler and more of a traditional artist, similar to Denise from In Liquid Color. And so I have a lot of traditional art supplies that don't necessarily work just on their own. You need some sort of tool like a paintbrush, things like that. That seems a little lame to have a paintbrush as one of the 5 things. So we're having those as sort of a separate side
And additionally,
thing.
We are using the mixed media paper.
So this is just one of my normal sketchbooks that I use. This is the Canson mixed media paper in here, and I'm just gonna use one of the pieces of paper in this sketchbook because it is mixed media. Hopefully anything he decides to pick out for me will work well enough for both paint as well as markers or whatever we want to do. So how artistic do you feel like you are?
Me?
Yes.
On a scale of like 1 to 10?
Sure.
If 1 is like a 3rd grader,
Okay.
and 10 is like Picasso, like a 4.
How mean are you going to be to me?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being letting you use just supplies that I know you've used recently, and 10 being terrible, probably like a 5. Like, not awful, but I want to give you a challenge.
Middle ground, sure. Yeah, I mean, it is a challenge. So, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Nope. Let's get started.
No, you can't pick my art supplies.
Lando, go away.
You're not allowed.
So
here's my studio.
let's start by going to the left.
Okay, hold on, let me close the door. Okay, so
What's over here?
this is my recording area, and I have most of my traditional art supplies, sketchbooks, and some random drawing and pencils, inks as well. And we have some markers and liners. This is pretty much all my watercolor and some gouache and some other random kind of tool things over here. And then over here I have my colored pencils and watercolor pencils. And then that's all digital and
stuff,
computer editing and all that
printer,
stuff. Printer.
So is there anything down here that's worth looking
So
into?
I do have some extra drawing and watercolor paints at the very top, and I have some Sharpies down in this drawer, and I do have some old oil paints here which I haven't used in a very long time, and that's mostly it for the art supplies in this area. This is kind of a mishmash of my shipping stuff as well as kind of extra traditional art.
Okay, so what's up over here?
Okay, so I have sort of like in progress things for YouTube and various stuff up there. I have some printing paper and marker paper and various things like that. I have tissue paper in these two bins. I like to keep that for mixed media stuff in various colors. And then I have some trim and twine, things like that. I have my cheaper, it's kind of dark over here, some cheaper acrylic paints and some other random inks and spray inks and chalkboard paint and chalk pens and other kind of medium stuff. Washi tape is in this blue bin right here. And then I have kind of random crafty things kind of in this whole bookshelf.
So what's in this blue rolly guy?
Down here I have mostly sort of mixed media art journaling stuff back when I was getting really into art journaling. So I have really random brushes, including some sort of foam brushes and various mediums like gesso and gel medium and various things that would probably need to be mixed with paints. These are my I think oil and water-based paint markers. There's some cheap watercolors here, some gelatos. I don't know if you know what gelatos are.
What's a gelato?
It's sort of
Sounds
like
food.
Yeah, you would say that. It's sort of like a crayon, smooth kind of medium that you can lay down, and I believe you can add water to it. I haven't actually used it all that much. And then down here, I have some sort of pan chalks. There's random stencils in here. I don't know if we want to have that as an art supply, and there's stamping things down here and just sort of extras. Then I have some older acrylics that are down here that I haven't used in a long time.
Okay, what about the closet?
So pretty much this entire side is all convention merchandise and shipping store-based stuff, so it's not going to be really art supplies on that side.
A little bit of paper, scrap paper over here, but let's go to the other
Yeah,
half.
so this is sort of my paper crafting area where I do have some scrapbook paper, various scraps of paper because I keep everything, and if you haven't noticed, I'm basically a hoarder of all of this stuff. There's really random pieces and scraps of paper up there. I kind of have this as a catch-all for projects that I haven't finished. More paper. I have some stamping things, stamps and inks in here, as well as some paper punches and cardstock. There's jewelry making supplies at the very bottom, which probably isn't going to be very helpful. And a lot of it's just paper. And yeah, that's pretty much all that's in there. So do you have an idea of where you want to go for these 5 things?
Starting to get an idea.
Well, you're thinking I can show off some of these amazing art pieces that I have from conventions and friends of mine. Again, the ones in the middle are watercolor pencils, or water soluble, so I can mix them with water, and the other ones I cannot. Prismacolor, Parrot Green, and this is one of the Prismacolor Premiers, so they're the softer leads. I have some harder lead ones, if you're interested in those as well.
That's the one I'm picking.
They're in here.
That's the one I'm picking.
A lot of the drawing stuff. I wonder if he'll give me a pencil. If you're looking for specific things and forgot where they are, let me know.
Yeah. Let's go back over here.
Okay.
You said these were called, the thing I don't know what it
Gelatos.
was. Gelatos. You're gonna get one of these.
Okay.
Let's find you a good one.
I forget what else I have in there actually. But these are the gelatos, and these are some cheap water brushes. But
are they for these or no?
They can be. Again, if I remember correctly, these interact with water similar to other water soluble kinds of things, but it's more of like a crayon. I haven't used those in a really long time. Okay, so this This is the, put this down, Faber Castell Gelato. I don't know what the color of this is, but it's definitely a purple if you can't tell. So I believe both of these are the same exact thing. I just inherited this from someone else, so I have a couple.
Gotcha.
And if you're gonna pick that, you need to pick a color.
Yes.
Okay.
I understand that you only get one
Yes.
color if I am to pick something.
Yes. And these are the sort of cheaper brand. I believe they're from Michael's, if I remember correctly. Oh, they don't have anything on them, but they're the cheaper brand that I think are around, you know, $5 to $10 at Michael's. You get a lot of colors.
This one.
That sort of peach color?
Yeah, peachy.
Okay. Okay, so is this sort of peach color?
3.
That's 3 things.
And we'll get you tools set up after I pick all 5 things.
Yeah, I'll let you know what I'll need.
I want to give you a marker.
Okay, an alcohol marker or a water-based or a Sharpie permanent marker?
I hadn't decided yet, but a marker. See if anything calls out.
And there's also all the liners, and I have some more liners up in the blue and green drawer thing up there. This?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a Marvy Plume alcohol marker. These have just a brush tip similar to a Copic on this end, and this is Cool Gray 898, which if I remember correctly is almost like a black.
Remind me again, for these guys, the higher number is thinner or thicker?
Typically it's going to be thicker, so there's some in there that are like 0.2. You're talking about the liners, right?
Yeah, so the 05 is thicker than the 01?
Yes.
Okay.
I know some of these it's kind of hard because they've rubbed off. I think I have ones that are technically 1.0, and then there's, yeah. I mean, you can take the caps off and see how thick they are.
Sure.
I even have a couple brush ones in there. And I have a lot of brush pens, so these are most of my Microns, but I also have various kind of brush pens, but most of those are going to be black. I don't know if they want color. Okay, so the thinner green Micron, Pigma Micron liner. And this green color, it's actually a pretty bright color. So those are 5 items. Are you happy with those?
Yes.
Okay, so
what tools do you need?
I mostly will just need to use water, probably for the gelato, as well as the paints, or the paint. So I'll need a watercolor or water brush. What I have here, I can pull these out so you can look at them a little better. So it's a size 8 round watercolor brush. I believe that one's from Daiso, cheaper. Okay, so this is a flat synthetic brush from Blick. It's 1/4 inch size. So is it safe to say that I can just use these 2 tools with kind of these 2 tools?
Yes.
Okay. So those are kind of what you've picked for those 2?
And you'll need an eraser.
Well, I'm not though, because you didn't give me any pencil that I can erase.
Can't you erase the coloring pencil?
That is not a drawing pencil. That is just a colored pencil. You happy with your choices
It's a challenge.
in life?
Yes.
Okay, so here are my supplies and tools that I have to complete this challenge. I think the first thing I want to do is kind of do a swatch of all these different mediums. I mean, I have a lot going on here. I have alcohol markers, watercolor, I still need to figure out how to use this in colored pencil. So I think the best thing I can do is to do a little reference sheet to see how these all interact. So let's do that. So this is the piece that I ended up with. I definitely had a difficult time with this color palette. This peach color is not something I really love using because it's this sort of sandy color. I decided to use it as a desert sand color. Then I ended up using the marker to make even darker shadows on these two cacti to make it look like they are farther in the background. Overall, not too bad. I did like the green and the purple together, which no one's surprised by. I feel like this was more so a 3-color challenge that had the somewhat advantage of using a black color, but I don't like using black in my paintings or drawings very much anyway. So having to incorporate that was a little frustrating, and the colored pencil and the Micron green are just about the same color of green. So really I had this purple, this peach, and this green color. So sort of like a 3-color challenge, but 3 different
mediums or even 4 different mediums. Definitely a challenge, and it took me out of my comfort zone. I hope to do more challenges like this in the future, and I hope you enjoyed seeing this process. It's really important as an artist to challenge yourself and try new things. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see me do more challenges like this, comment down below. And if you liked this, please leave me a like. If you want to stick around, make sure to subscribe. And as always, I hope you have a creatively fulfilled day. Bye guys.